Hey everyone. For week 5, you're going to be responding to a classmate's essay. Last week you should have completed a first draft of your essay in which the primary requirements is just simply to have a full complete draft, 750 to 1,000 words, uh, about 3 pages, 3 to 4 pages. If you've done that, you've completed that, now we're going to be ready for the next step of peer reviewing, sharing that writing with someone else, getting someone else's perspective on it. So this kind of works in the sense that before your paper comes to me as an instructor and I grade it, and then that's kind of it, you have a chance to get other people's suggestions on it. Now, when we think of peer review, uh, uh, most peers are not they're not there to edit an essay. They're not there to fix grammar, spelling mistakes, punctuation mistakes. You're not fixing the essay. You are simply giving your perspective of whether or not an essay is readable, entertaining, informative, makes sense, has enough detail there, is concise enough that you don't get bored kind of reading through it. Um, if it, it's really just your opportunity to let someone else know if their writing works for the purpose that they've created it. So in this case, we're making a personal narrative. So in part, you're hopefully kind of entertaining someone while also kind of teaching a particular lesson or a moral that you learned through this experience of recounting a moment in your life. So how do we do this? So we'll see that as we go down here to the assignments, continue working on personal narrative step 4. I can click that to view the directions. Here I have the full directions. I have 5 questions that I want to answer. You are required to do 2 peer reviews, only 2. So each one is worth 10 points, total 20 points altogether, and that's if you answer these questions. And when I say answer them, I don't mean just a single sentence for question number 1, a single sentence for question number 2. I want you to give some detail. Make this constructive, specific, and detailed. Occasionally, you may have to be a little bit blunt about things, but be nice about it. Don't insult anyone. Don't tell anyone to rewrite the whole essay. Don't say, "Hey, man, this paper is just garbage. I don't like it." Even if you're not interested in the topic that's being wrote about, that's not a reason to just criticize the paper and say, "Hey, this is not interesting, so it's not a good paper." That's not myself. I don't like a lot of sports, so I get a lot of essays on sports or athletics. If I were that dismissive that easily, I'd have a lot more kind of F papers, and I can't do that. Your job as a peer reviewer is to remove yourself from these personal interests and just read the paper and ask yourself questions like, does the writer accomplish what he or she set out to do, and where is the gem in the dust that I can help that writer polish and make the rest of the paper shine as bright as that one gem. So spend some time answering these questions and be specific. If you are talking about a paragraph, let the writer know what paragraph you're talking about. If you're talking about, hey, I like the way that the author used choice of words. So the way that the choice of words that the writer used were just great. Give that writer an idea of what some of those words are that you like so much, because if you don't, that writer may, when they make revisions, they don't want to delete the stuff that their reader really enjoys. So be specific and include words, sentences, or ideas directly connected to that text. So you have 2 peer reviews to do. You can do a third one for extra credit. It's all graded the same. How do you do that? Well, if we go down here and I go to next, you're going to see the repeat of the directions again, but there is no place to submit the assignment. So you're wondering, how do I do this? Well, if I read here, it says return to the submission page for personal narrative, step 3 in last week's module. So I'm going to go back here to modules. Then from there, I'm going to go to the previous week, week 4, step 3. I'm going to click on that. You can see that I've submitted my essay up here, and it says submitted. And then right below this, now it's not going to show up for me, but it will show up for you. It will say assigned peer reviews, and you're going to see 3 names. Each of those names are a hyperlink. You can click on them, and then you will see their essay. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see their essay. Over on the right-hand side, you'll have an opportunity to comment. In that little comment box, that is where you're going to put the answers for your questions. Now, I would probably recommend just go ahead and typing these out on a separate document and then copy paste or uploading so you don't risk losing that. You could also download their essay or copy it. If you decide that you want to try to put marks on it, you could upload a kind of an edited version that way. But again, I'm less concerned about you fixing their paper or trying to correct them on. You read through their paper and you say, well, they need to indent this or they need to capitalize this word. That stuff doesn't matter so much here. When we're talking about the strengths of the paper, maybe a choice of words, the way that they organize their ideas, is it organized chronologically or logically? Does it make sense that the way that they organize it? Did they give you enough details? You know, if you're reading, you know, I'm going to upload in the additional resources, I will have a sample paper called detasseling. I'd like you to read through that, and you may find in detasseling that you never actually learn what the job is. So if you've never detasseled before, there's a kind of a good example to take a look at. That's a pretty big problem with that essay, is that we do not, the writer doesn't explain actually what the job entails. But again, I can't stress this enough. You're not fixing grammar, not fixing spelling errors. You're simply answering these questions and making the feedback constructive. Your goal is to help that writer improve their paper so that they have a much better grade by the time they're done. I will try to put some more videos up on this, but if you have questions, send me a text. If you'd like me to kind of review what you have wrote for feedback, send me a text or email, and we can go from there.